Hey everyone, let's talk about the cards coming out with the 5th and last wing of Naxxramas. There are fewer cards coming out this week with only 2 bosses that each come with a new epic card and then of course a legendary card for beating the last boss. This wing will only include 1 new class card as well, but making up for that a bit is the fact that we can finally unlock the Naxxramas heroic card back for beating all of the wings on heroic. The first card is Echoing Ooze, a 1/2 minion for 2 mana with a battle cry that summons an exact copy of itself at the end of the turn it is played. A potentially very powerful card that I think will be held back a little bit by the current prevalence of hunters. It might still work out well in a druid deck against hunters as a turn 4 play combined with Mark of the Wild giving you 2 free 4 taunts for only 4 mana, and well, you spend 2 cards on it, but it's extremely powerful. Compare it with the Shaman Wolves and they kinda pale in comparison. The main problem of course is that you need both of the cards in the hand at the same time. There is of course also the combo play with Blessing of Kings for 2 5/6s for 6 mana. Overall though, I think this card will be stronger in druid decks because some druids were already running Mark of the Wild, and the Echoing Ooze just fits well into token decks in general, also having synergy with cards like Power of the Wild. I think it's a good card for pretty much every class though, even if you can't buff it, like 2 1/2s for 2 mana is not that bad. The second card is Shade of Naxxramas, a 2/2 minion for 3 mana with stealth. It has an effect giving it +1/1 at the start of each of your future turns. I don't think this card is very strong. Sure, you can leave it stealthed for 5 turns and get a 7/7, but I don't think that is worth the tempo loss, and then you might just lose it to a big game hunter or auto removal anyway. I have been trying to think of synergy for this card, but to me it seems like it would work very similar to how a 3/3 with stealth would. Sure, it has the added benefit of getting a little buff every turn, but it is unlikely to survive to become bigger than 3/3 unless you keep it stealthed. The legendary card for the week is Kel'Thuzad, a 6/8 minion for 8 mana that summons all friendly minions that died on the turn at the end of every turn. Now, this guy is scary. I predict most control decks will use him. It having 6 attack instead of 8 actually seems like an advantage because it dodges the big game hunter. He will be a huge turn H play for anyone who have minions available to trade with, like say a Bloodhoof, but honestly even trading a Loot Hoarder would make Kel'Thuzad worth it. Kel'Thuzad's effect work on both your own and the enemy's turn, meaning that a stealthed Kel'Thuzad would be absolutely brutal in the hands of a rogue. Kel'Thuzad only seems to have one significant weakness: he's not a very strong play on an empty board, but other than that, his power is immense. The one class card of the week is Avenge, a paladin secret that gives a random friendly minion +3/2 the next time a friendly minion dies. At first glance, I didn't like this card very much, but now that I've thought about it more, it might actually be decent, especially now with the mad scientist around. Just like the other paladin secrets, most of the time it won't be game changing, but I think it'll see some play in aggro paladin decks. Overall, this week introduces fewer new cards than any of the other weeks so far, but 2 of them seem very powerful and interesting. I'm especially curious to see Kel'Thuzad in action. He just seems so potentially game-breaking, but he does cost 8 mana, and it is a win more card, so maybe that's okay. We'll see. This is the last week of Naxxramas, so now is the perfect time to experiment since all the options will be available, and future weeks' cards won't suddenly crush your deck. Thanks for watching everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.